Asalamualaikum guys, welcome back to my channel. I pray that you are all in the best of health and iman. If you are new, welcome. My name is Nafisa. I am a Muslimah life coach and I support Muslim women with relationship and mental health issues. So if you're interested in being coached in those areas, you can find me over on my website, which I will leave linked in the description box down below. But over here on YouTube, I make Islamic lifestyle as well as dawah content. So if you're interested in that, then definitely make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. So yes guys, I have been MIA from social media for most parts of 2022, and yes, I must admit it has been a very life-changing year for me. Life has been lifing as they say these days. Where have I been? Yes, I have been pregnant most of 2022, and I've learned quite a few lessons from being pregnant. So as you guys know, I got married in March 2022 last year, and we had a few weeks and then went through Ramadan. So I was kind of hoping to kind of get back in the swing of filming again after Ramadan. But come to find out, about a week after Ramadan, I was expecting. So alhamdulillah, pregnancy has dealt with me. Okay, pregnancy definitely taught me a few lessons and things that I've reflected on now that I've already had my baby. So yes, I had a baby a couple of weeks ago. Excuse the croaky voice. Okay, I am functioning on broken sleep. As you know, that happens with new mothers because newborns sleep for about 2 to 3 hours and then they wake up. So yes, I had a baby girl, alhamdulillah, a couple of weeks ago, and we're just starting to settle into some sort of a routine. I don't know how well she's going to deal with me speaking this loudly because she's right next to me, she's in front of me. So if she wakes up and I have to attend to her, you will have to excuse me, but that is where I have been, guys. Yes, so in this video I wanted to share a couple of lessons that I learned throughout my pregnancy, and even though for the most part it was a smooth pregnancy, there's quite a few things that I just reflected on after having had my baby, and I thought it would be important to share. You don't have to have gone through pregnancy to find this video beneficial. I think the lessons are going to be beneficial for any woman who is one day planning to start a family, or just a woman that's just going, or a man, anyone going through any kind of difficulty in their life at the moment. I think some of the lessons you'll find beneficial. So am I going to share my daughter on social media? Well, it's going to be difficult for her not to be in my videos, but I don't plan on like showing her face in my videos. So as much as I can, I'm going to avoid putting her on social media. There is the mama bear in me, there is also the teacher in me that's thinking about safeguarding and all of that. But when I do vlog, especially in Ramadan, it's going to be hard for you guys not to see her. Here we go. I'm just gonna hold her for a bit, continue with this video, see if that works. Otherwise I'll pause and come back. I don't know if I want to do a name reveal, guys. I'm really not sure about what I want to share about my children on social media. One thing I do know is I want to share as least as possible. Okay, so you may see her but you may not see her face, and I don't think I want to share her name either. I'm sorry. Just know that it is the right of a child that you should give the child a good name in Islam, and we have done that for her, alhamdulillah. Okay, so let's begin today's video finally. So I actually wanted to start off this video by saying that one of the vital lessons that pregnancy taught me is that you are not in control. I realized how little control I had going through the process of pregnancy. And it's a lesson that we all learn in life in different ways. You learn that in some ways you're in control, in some ways you're not. Of course, you need to do the deed to become pregnant anyways, but actually conceiving is not in your hands. And once you have conceived, the health of your child, the health of the growing fetus, the whole process of just creating a human is so out of your control. For me, I just felt like I was just a vessel, that something was happening inside of me, and I had no control over what was happening inside of me. You don't have control over what genes your children inherit from both you and your partner. You don't have control about their eye color, their skin color, their hair type, their gender. They don't have control over who their parents are. Allah chooses all of that for them, you know. And so going through pregnancy in the different stages, from the first trimester right to the end, I really realized that I wasn't in control. And so it made me realize how much more I needed to rely and depend on Allah. And so I want to use this as a means to give women who are looking to have children some hope in not feeling like there is something wrong with them. You know, a child is a life is something that Allah chooses to bring into the dunya. And sometimes it can be very difficult for a lot of women to deal with the fact that they've been trying and trying and trying, and it just seems fruitless. And sometimes it's difficult to watch other women barely try and it seems fruitful. And sometimes you feel like, well, there must be something wrong with me. And I just want to tell those women that there is nothing wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with you. Allah chooses to bless at His appointed time. If you followed me for a long time, you knew that it took a while for me to settle down. And Allah chose to bless me at His appointed time. And I had to wait. I had to keep trying, but I had to wait. So my message to you is, don't give up if it's something that you want, and if it's something that can still happen, as in you are still at an age where you can conceive and you can give birth, or if there are other means that you can use that are permissible within the Deen to have children. If that's something you want, then continue to try, but understand that so many things in this world will happen to us. Life will happen to us. We won't choose our circumstances. Going through morning sickness, like, oh my God, first trimester was something else, because my morning sickness started very early on. The week that I found out I was pregnant, my morning sickness kicked in, and it kicked in with a vengeance. You know, like the week before that, when I didn't know that I was pregnant, and then I found out, I was like, oh, you know, if it's going to be like this, it's going to be easy. I'm not having this morning sickness that everybody else is talking about. And then as soon as I started to say that, boom, the morning sickness came in, and it was real. For me, I didn't even throw up, guys. I did. I threw up one time in my entire pregnancy. I was just feeling sick. I was just feeling like I wanted to throw up throughout. Not just even the first trimester. I did not stop having morning sickness until I was about halfway into the 4th month of my pregnancy. So it was just feeling like you want to throw up, but not being able to throw up for like over 4 months straight. And that in of itself was just quite challenging. And again, there was not much that I could do. I was trying all the home remedies people were recommending, like eating ginger and like all of these, trying out lemon. Lemon did help a little bit, squeezing some lemon in water and drinking, that helped a little bit. But for the most part, I just had to go through that process. And so in the end, I realized how little power and control I had over my circumstance, over my situation, and how it was completely Allah's decision. And what was happening to me was completely in Allah's control. So in the end, reflecting this back in your life, perhaps for whatever situation you're in, know that yes, we tie our camels as Muslims, but in the end, it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that is in absolute full control over every situation. So whether you're in a position of difficulty or a position of ease, as you may perceive it, whatever that situation is, hand it over to Allah and know that Allah has power over all things. Know that He is in full control and He can make the decisions that can literally change your life. So for me, it was it was really nice to just be able to reflect and just know that in the end Allah has my back. Know that in the end Allah is the one that is making this whole process what it is going to be, just like my mother had to go through with me. And it helps you to release the need to control every situation. You can't get yourself out of having nausea. You have to go through it. If you're gonna go through it, you're gonna go through it. You don't get to pick the gender of your child. You're just gonna have to release the need for control, because guess what, there's nothing you can do about it. And so many other things that you go through in pregnancy. And so it's nice to be able to let go and to trust Allah to get you through the process. So whatever situation you're going through in life, trust Allah through the process, and recognize at certain stages when you need to release control and just let Allah do his thing and let him handle it. In the end, to him is the final decision. He will make the final decision, and the love that Allah has for us, he will always make a decision that is best for us unless we choose otherwise. So trust in Allah and let go of the need to control in certain situations of your life. It may help you out a whole lot. The second reminder that I had whilst being pregnant is that sometimes some of the most painful things are also the most rewarding. And it's quite interesting, because when you think about the concept of this dunya in the first place and how challenging the dunya is, period, and you think about going through the process and the trials and the tests that you have in this world, and then being rewarded in the hereafter for it, is the same concept. That sometimes in order for you to get to a point of being able to enjoy something, you have to go through a period of pain. And yes, pregnancy definitely reminded me of that, because there was just so many days when I was just like alhamdulillah, not complaining, but there were just so many days when you just feel like crap. You know, when I see these women on social media and you know they're glowing and they're just like having fun, I'm just like, I'm sat at home, I'm in my PJs, I haven't had a bath for 3 days and I am just feeling fed up. There was a point to where I was just like, I don't even feel like myself anymore, because I'm the kind of woman who likes, you know, I like to take care of myself, I like to pamper myself every now and again. I like to dress well, take care of my skin. My skin was ashy during pregnancy. Let me tell you, this child, there was no glow. You guys are all about, oh my gosh, Nafisa, your skin's glowing. I was waiting for my glow when I was pregnant. I was like, you know, this pregnancy glow, like if my skin, this is how I envisioned it in my head. I was like, if my skin is already naturally glowy, when I get pregnant, oh my God, I am going to be shining. And let me tell you, that's not what happened. The complete opposite happened, okay? My skin was dry. It was crusty. It was flaky everywhere. I had acne in random parts of my face. Even my husband was just like, wow, like Nafisa, you've got some spots. I was like, yeah, I know I have spots. Can we not mention it, please? So there were times when I just didn't even feel like myself. But again, I had to know that there was going to be an outcome at the end of it, inshallah, that I have been wanting for a long time, and that it was going to be a good outcome, inshallah. So there will be difficulties attached to greatness, attached to blessings. So don't live life expecting that each stage of your life is just going to be complete enjoyment, because with each stage of life there will be different challenges that are attached to different blessings. And that's really one that I was reminded of during the pregnancy, is that yes, you will go through the different challenges, but you know there will be some blessing at the end of it. But again, that is just life. I think sometimes us women, especially women who are looking to get married and eventually start a family, we have this idea that once we get married, life is just going to be this happily ever after. That life is gonna, she's giving her input, that life is going to be this happily ever after afterwards. And it's like, no, it's just different sets of challenges attached to different sets of blessings. Being single and having your free time in that kind of way has so many blessings attached to that as well. Like one thing I was so happy about when I was pregnant is how I actually spent my time when I was single and not married, and how I spent my time when I wasn't pregnant. Like I got things done. Alhamdulillah. You know, even when I think about Ramadan, I was like, wow, I was actually pregnant through most of Ramadan, and I didn't know. And Alhamdulillah, I fasted most of my fast in Ramadan. So now I only have like a few days to pay back, and I'm like, Alhamdulillah, I'm so glad that I did that. You know, because if I had anticipated that I was pregnant and I would just be like, oh, you know, let me take it easy, let me not fast, I would have so much to pay back at this point. And Alhamdulillah, I don't. So, you know, there isn't this euphoric position that you get to and that you never experience difficulty. It's just different types of difficulties that come along with it. The third lesson that is super important, and I really want every single Muslimah to listen carefully to this. In fact, I want every single woman to listen carefully, whether you are a Muslim or not. Really doesn't matter. You can benefit from this, the point that I'm about to make, which is that it doesn't pay to get pregnant outside of marriage. I needed my husband's help so much throughout my pregnancy that it made me sit there and think about the women who get pregnant outside of wedlock and the men who don't take responsibilities for the pregnancies, and how these women have to go through this alone. Like, it is hard. Let me tell you, it doesn't pay to get pregnant outside of marriage. Take your time, find the person that is right for you, and when you are looking for a spouse, in fact, it made me realize how much important the quality of empathy from your partner is and will be to you when you become pregnant. When you become pregnant, you are just so much more hormonal. Things just annoy you a whole lot faster, and you're going through pain, you're going through difficulty. You need a partner who can empathize with you, a partner who can sympathize, and a partner who cares. You know, please, sisters, don't overestimate choosing a partner who actually cares about you and your well-being. Because I say that because if you pick a partner who isn't that caring, you will regret it the most when you're pregnant. Because when you are pregnant is when you are in one of your most vulnerable states, and you really need someone to be present with you. I remember us going to these like scans and going for the scan to check the baby and all of that, and you get there, and living here in England with majority white people, they go to these things with their partners all the time. So you go to these appointments and you will see the woman with her husband or with her boyfriend, with her partner, whoever the man is. There's always couples together. And I think it's very different from other cultures, where if you were to go to a place where you were going to check the baby or you're going for your antenatal care, you would mostly only see women there. You will never see men. And I really want to encourage men that when your wife is pregnant and she has all these antenatal appointments, go with her. Be a means of support for her. Be extra attentive to her. And you're also, as men, I'm speaking to the men now, the few that I have following my channel, you're going to need to have extra patience, okay? Because pregnant women are extra cranky. Extra cranky. And so going back to you women, like, because of all of that and so much that is happening, you really need a man to stand by you. And so having your husband who is caring there is going to make the whole pregnancy journey a lot more smoother and a lot more easier for you. I can't imagine having to go through that on my own, which just makes me sympathize even more so with women who have to birth their children because they've lost their husbands whilst they're pregnant. Like we had a friend who passed away whilst his wife was pregnant with I think it was their third child, and it broke my heart, because I can't imagine like the worst time to lose your partner. And she was in her third trimester, and it just made me think, my God, like she would have to go through the rest of her pregnancy, the birthing of a child, all on her own without the support of her partner. And that, going back to certain things happen to us that is not in our control, that's not in her control. She can't bring her husband back. She has to go through that process on her own. And I just ask Allah to make it easy for every single woman who has that type of a challenge to deal with in her life, because it's definitely easier if you do have your partner with you. But if they're not with you, you know, you can still make it happen. Of course, many women go through it, but I'm just saying it's easier to go through it with a supporting partner. And if you don't have your husband there, then maybe your mom, you know, your sisters, have a support system around you during pregnancy is very, very, very important, because there's a lot that you just can't do by yourself when you're pregnant, or you can't do for yourself when you're pregnant. I was given medication to take for a short period of time, and when I read the back of the medication, one of the side effects was depression. And I was like, depression? So I wanted to just advise women in general that when they are going through the period of pregnancy, read the labels and read the side effects of the medications that you are taking, because it kind of made me think that, okay, if pregnant women are given this medication to take, and some pregnant women then end up developing depression post-pregnancy, then could some of the post-pregnancy depression be explained by some of the medication that women are given during the time that they are pregnant? So I just want you guys to be aware of the risks that come with certain medications that you take, and please be careful, because there's a lot of nowadays there's a lot of women who experience postnatal depression, and that is a real thing, and a lot of women don't know where it comes from, you know, what causes it, so on and so forth. I'm not saying the medications cause 100% of these, I don't know, but what I do know is if a woman is given certain medications to take that can cause postnatal depression, and she never even knew that that was a side effect, and then later on develops postnatal depression, well, you know, if she knew, it would help to kind of give her an insight about how to then manage her depression, because then she can come off the medication, inshallah. But it just gives you an idea about what you're actually putting yourself into. Think about the risks that come with everything. Sometimes you don't have a choice with some of these medications, because, you know, you've got to protect your life and also the life of your child first, and all the emotional stuff kind of comes second. But it's important to know, so please make sure you read the labels of your medications. I think Mrs. over here has had enough of mommy speaking next to her. Those are some of the 4 lessons that I learnt, or that pregnancy taught me, and then I took away from being pregnant. Alhamdulillah, as much as I say or refer to pregnancy being a challenging time, alhamdulillah, it is a blessing, an absolute blessing. Something that only I think mostly those who don't have know the value of, because some of us who do go through these processes quite easily, sometimes we can take we don't know the value of what we have, and so it's very important for us to pause and, despite the difficulty, acknowledge how much of a blessing we have, and how much of a privilege it is to be a mother. Like, it's still weird to me, like, I'm a mom. The first time someone was like, oh yeah, and your daughter, and I kind of had to like, wait, you talking to me? Are you talking to me, my daughter? Oh yeah, my daughter, I have a child, I'm a mom now, what? Alhamdulillah, very grateful, very grateful. May Allah make it easy for every single woman out there who is looking to become a mom, and for every mom out there, may Allah make it easy for you to look after your child. May the children be the coolness of our eyes. May they be a blessing to the ummah at large and to the world at large. May we give birth to humans who will be good humans and just good to other humans, and, you know, prosper in this world and the hereafter. Ameen. And may they also be a means for us to enter Jannatul Firdaus. Ameen ya Rab. Thank you guys so much for bearing with me through this video. Trying to get into the routine of filming, so when she takes her naps, I will be putting on my hijab and sitting in front of the camera banging out videos as much as I can, because I got to continue my dawah. So thank you guys so much. I will speak to you in my next video, inshallah. Assalamualaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.